So a question was asked, let's say someone needs to leave to go to a doctor's appointment or whatever else. Um, if you need to leave class for some reason, what I suggest you do is after class or later on, watch the video because there's probably going to be some sort of homework or some sort of discussion or something that you might need to see. So I would suggest after, if you have to miss any of the class time, just go and watch the video or watch that little section of video that you missed of the class. Does that answer your question, Courtney?
Well, with it kind of being for work, I don't want it to be like everything that affects my class participation.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, it's not going to affect it.
if I miss like class. Okay.
it.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And it's 6:01. Good morning. We'll get started in about 9 minutes. So just kind of get you a drink, get you coffee, get you water, whatever you need, and we'll see you in a couple minutes, or we'll start in a couple minutes. Just about 5 more minutes and we'll get started. Just waiting to see if there's anybody else that will come in. I'm texting a few people that are not here right now, so hoping that.
Good morning, Chef. It's Kamari here.
Good morning. We'll get started in about a couple more minutes.
All right.
Cool. Thank you. All right. All right. Well, good morning. I hope everybody's doing well this morning. I'm going to start on a we usually do on Monday mornings, we usually do a what's growing on, and that's kind of like their newsletter, the school's newsletter. And we did not do it yesterday, so I'm going to do it today and just kind of give you kind of show the newsletter and kind of go over that, and then we'll get started. Share my screen. All right. So, what's growing on is the school newsletter. They usually have, it's usually on Mondays. But let's go. Okay. So this is the school holidays. So if you would like to know the school holidays, you got Friday, November the 6th is a in-service, so you do not have to go to school on that day. That is only for us instructors. Thanksgiving, you have a Thanksgiving break, then Christmas break, and you resume on the January the 11th is the first day of school, coming back from break. Attention hybrid classes, okay, just basically zero tolerance for any of the hybrid classes, any of that sort of stuff. Let's see, if you need any assistance in rent, utilities, other stuff, Austin has a couple of resources. If you need help, please reach out to them. Web help, if you need any sort of medical help, any of that sort of stuff, use this. Let's see. Ooh, there we go. some resources for yourself for after losses. Here is questions, or if you have any questions on accounting or any sort of stuff, these people take a picture of this just in case. If you ever have any financial aid questions, any of that sort of stuff, please feel free to contact these people. Zendesk, if you have any problems with your email, please email or please call this number. These people will help you out. No problem. They can reset your passwords. They can do all of that sort of stuff. Another Zendesk or portal issues. And if you want to take a picture of that or write it down, something, just because there will be a problem eventually on the portal with your password or whatever else. Protect yourself, get the flu shot, wash your hands, wear a mask, all of those things. Protect yourself. If you need to do any disinfecting surfaces, there you go. It's basically a half a cup of Clorox to a gallon of water. We talked about policies, uniform, all of that. Just looking sharp. These two people, if you ever need a job or you need to for your externship or just a job in general, these two people are in the career services department. They work for you guys, and they are working for you right now. If you need a job right now, you call or you email these people. They'll help you out. They'll find you a job. We have people calling all the time, looking for people for jobs, whatever else. Please feel free to email them. They work for you. They will help you out, even if you're just getting started right now. It doesn't matter. And then we usually have a few places. Here you go. This is, excuse me, someone was yawning in class or on the screen, and I caught their yawn. Sorry. So bakery, here is a baking class or a Dream Bakery. I have never been there before. Has anybody ever been there before? Dream Bakery. All right. They're looking for a position. So if you want to try to go, feel free. Featured employers. All right. You need, whoa, what just happened? Are y'all still there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Still here.
All right, cool. My dog just unplugged my other monitor, sorry. Let's see.
Yes.
So featured employers. Why is it moving? Okay. Additional here's a lot of places that are hiring right now. Gumbo's in Georgetown, La Barbecue, University of Texas Golf Club. All of these places are hiring if you need a job. If you work or if you want to go work at the school, our storeroom needs help. So if you're wanting to work, what is it, $12 an hour? Pay, give or take. All right. So anyway, that's you can work at the school if you'd like. Just a funny quote of the week. Live it, love it, breathe it. All right, trivia. What is a single spaghetti noodle called? All right, and on your chat line, you can either put 1, 2, 3, or 4. So someone wrote 1, someone wrote 4, another person wrote 1. 1. Another 4, few ones, another 4. So it's between 4 and 1. All right, we ready? A 3. Oh man, that's great. I like that. All right. So let me move my screen back over to my other monitor. All right. All right, so that is done. Let's go to day 2. Now I am going to be showing a couple of videos today. So if it what happens sometimes when I show a video, it might lag a little bit. It's maybe not the video that I'm really, it's more or less the words and everything. So if the video kind of lags, that's fine. It's just I just want you to get the content. And if it's lagging a little bit more, you can always turn off your camera, and that also helps stream the video as well. But let me get started. All right. And I'm going to show you where to get onto the portal and show you where all of this is. So can y'all see me, the login to the portal? Yeah? Cool, thank you.
Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna log into the portal just to make sure everybody kind of has an understanding of where all this is. And I think this is y'all's class. All right, so if you go down, keep going where it says day 1, okay? I'm gonna just show you day 1, so that was yesterday. I click on that, and we had, unfortunately, our video got cut in half, so I had to split it up. So here's the first part of the video, and then the second part of the video, okay? And then right here, does everybody see right above this video, right here? That is a link, and if you click on that link, that was a link to day 1 PowerPoint, okay? I'm gonna go back, but I'm gonna click on day 2. Everybody see day 2 right there? And this link right here, that's on day 2, this top link right there. If you click on that, that goes to the link to every single PowerPoint that you're gonna be needing for the class. Okay, so to find all those PowerPoints, you log in to the portal, okay? You go to day 2, where it says day 2, click on that. The shared drive right up in what's going to happen is this later on today, when I post the video, the video will be right below it. But right above it is this link. You're going to click on that, and that's every single PowerPoint you need for the class. Okay, so if you need it, there it is. I'm not gonna post them anywhere else. If you need to find them, look on day 2. All right, everybody cool with that? Everybody understand that? So that is where all of those documents are going to live on the portal, is in day 2. All right, day 2. Review course expectations. Were there anybody that had any questions about the course expectations in what I expect when it comes to going through all of the modules and doing the check your knowledges? And very important to do those and follow along with us when it comes to that. And every Friday, I am going to expect y'all to have all of the check your knowledges done. So please try to get those done. There's not many. I think there's usually like 3 in a week or something, 3 or 4 in a week. And you can do them as many times as you want to, I believe. You know, in whatever the best grade you get type of deal. Let's see. What are the things to avoid what are the things we can avoid to make a restaurant successful? What are the things we have to avoid to deal with to make restaurants successful? Anybody?
Money mismanagement.
Totally mismanagement. Yeah, what else? Location, training, you know, you name it. I mean, we went through quite a few. What else? Anything else? Forecasting, yeah. Let's see, what anybody else want to ask or say anything? Any added stuff?
Personality in the kitchen.
Personality, yeah, totally, for sure. There's, you know, so there's all different types of things that could make your restaurant successful or unsuccessful, right? You know, the things that, you know, we discussed of just poor training, poor customer service. All of those things could make your restaurant not successful. But what could make it successful is good training, good communication, good, good management of your employees, proper management of your employees. Those are all the things that are very important to keep your restaurant going and staying successful. Today's objectives are what? The basics of success in the industry. You know, we're going to be just talking about how to be successful in the industry, how to become an executive chef, how to become a chef in general, organizational charts when it comes to like, you know, the chef like hierarchy. You have sous chef, or you have executive chef, you have sous chef, you have chef de partie, you have all sorts of different hierarchy or levels that we're going to be going over and talking about. Opportunities, all different types of opportunities in the industry, and we talked about that yesterday as well. You know, food photographer, food, food restaurant lawyer, you name it. We did talk about all sorts of different opportunities, and we're going to still talk about more opportunities out in this industry. So that's kind of the class objectives for the day. So many people hope to get, all right, well, I don't like reading slides verbatim. Are y'all okay with that? Well, hold on, let me kind of talk about that. I'm not a big, like verbatim, like reading a slide. Are y'all okay with me not having to, go and can I just kind of, are y'all okay with me just kind of talking about it instead of having to being a talking head? I hate being a talking head. So anyway, so that's kind of what I'm going to do. I'm not going to, if they're here for you if you want to read it verbatim and all of that, but I'm going to just kind of, all right. So let me go back. So when we're talking about the opportunities, the one thing I would stress to you to make you successful in the industry, find something that you really love to do in the industry, whatever it is. Part of, like the photography, roll that into part of your culinary background or put it in with it, because you need to have something that you really love. The restaurant industry is a love it or hate it industry. It's either, you need that passion. You need to keep that passion going. And if you don't have that passion going, you typically want to get out of the industry. It's a hard industry, and if you've never been in it, it is a very difficult. And we're going to be talking about the difficulties and how to go around it and to get so it won't wear on you. So we're going to be talking about beyond the restaurant. So there are other jobs in the hospitality industry, many, like you have military, airlines, cruise ships, hospitals, hotels, clubs, retirement home, private chefs, corporate chefs, catering chefs. There are chefs, like, do we have a lot of military people in here? Or do we have any military? 1, 2, 3, like 4 or 5 or so. All right. So pretty decent amount. That's awesome. All right. So, in the military, there's lots of different food service establishments there, from or from like working on a submarine to working on a big ship, cruise ships. I mean, just that's going to be kind of an interesting deal now because with COVID and cruise ships, what's going to be happening with them, and the new technology with when it comes to trying to avoid, like just not sneeze guards or the plastic, trying to avoid that. But cruise ships are going to be kind of an interesting thing. Has anybody been on a cruise before? All right, now, and if you've ever seen it, you've got huge buffets, huge things that they do, and it's very, very cool food that they do on cruise ships. But it's with COVID, it's kind of shut down nowadays. But there are so many different jobs. There's, you can do breakfast cookery. You can do, I just want you to understand, if you want to find a job in a specific location, you can. I mean, honestly, there are so many jobs out there when it comes to the food industry, and the world is your oyster, I believe, when it comes to the food industry. But there are so many jobs out there. What makes this restaurant successful? Why are this bar, this place? Why is there so many people there? And you kind of wonder what it is that makes this restaurant this crowded and another restaurant not crowded, right? And there are things that this restaurant does that will make that makes them that successful. Okay. And that is, you know, training. That is all the things that we kind of talked about yesterday. And we're going to, again, talk more about it. Start with a solid business plan. All right. We kind of talked about that, that we're going to be creating a business plan. And you need to start with a good business plan. Have some tools in place to start a business. Now, who has the food truck, or who had the food truck? Uh, I only see a few people, so I can't. Uh, I think it was Dimitri. What was it?
Yeah, chef. I had a food truck.
Okay, yeah. So when you started your food truck, did you have a solid business plan? Did you create a plan for yourself? Or did you just kind of say, "Hey, I'm going to just start up a food truck," and you just did it? I mean, how did you come about creating, getting ready to decide to do a food truck?
Well, my wife had just graduated from culinary at the University of Alaska Fairbanks,
Mm-hmm.
and in the wintertime, it gets pretty cold in Fairbanks. It was like -50, and there was no food trucks running at the time. So I thought it'd be a good time to buy her a truck, and then by the time the summer rolls around, we'd be able to launch. But as soon as I bought the truck, she went ahead, got all the permits she needed for Fairbanks, and she started right away. So she kind of just dove right into it. We built the plan as we went, and then there was no competition during the winter. It actually went pretty well.
That's great, man. That's great. And you just you had kind of a plan in place, right? She had to you had to get the truck, you had to get the permitting and all of that. So there was kind of plans in place that you kind of started going on, and you have to have a solid plan. If not, it's not going to work. If she didn't get all the permitting in time, then she wasn't going to be able to do the food truck. So you have to have kind of organized. You have to get get a solid plan in place. You got to have a vision, and that's the most important thing. You have to have a vision. You have to have kind of an idea of what you want to do, because if you don't know what you want to do, I mean, you're going to be spinning in circles, right? I mean, there's absolutely no way that you're going to be able to get something done if you don't have that vision, and that and you don't have the people to help you to get it started. You don't have the employees, or your wife was the employee, right? But if you didn't have somebody, you wouldn't be running a truck right now. So you need to have that vision. You need to have some plans, a plan in place. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about, is kind of getting this plan in place and kind of getting ready to get a business plan started, or to get your business started. Restaurants have a
I think your mic went out.
We can't hear you, Chef.
Can you hear me? Test, test.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got you now,
Okay.
Chef.
Yes.
All right. I apologize. Technical difficulties. All right. So I'm going to just kind of start over because I don't know where my thing went off. But anyway, so restaurants have a life cycle. So and it's about a 5-year life cycle. The first year, it's the building of the business, right? You're just kind of building it and just kind of getting your hands wrapped around this business, right? So that's kind of the first the first thing. And then you have so that's the first year. Like year 2 and 3, you're kind of fine tuning it, right? You're just kind of getting it kind of situated. You're kind of getting it up ready so where it's easy. It's kind of just doing its own thing. It's just kind of cleaning it up, fine tuning the business. And then years 4 and 5, you're maximizing the all the earnings. You're maximizing your earnings. You're basically making most of your money during years 5 and 6. And then after that, you need to reinvent yourself. I mean, if not, people get tired of you. People are bored of you. And that's what happens with a few restaurants. I mean, there's a restaurant that's really, like close to my house that I'm just, I've, I've eaten at that place over and over again, and I'm just tired of it. I mean, it's boring. I mean, there's really nothing new. There's nothing new that attracts me to go to that facility. You might have to reinvent yourself or get something that makes people want to come back to you again, right? That excites people, that makes people want to come to you, right? In it's those little things you have to reinvent yourself every once in a while, and you've just got to kind of watch out. But there is a life cycle, and honestly, and if you see, there are people that are in the that more of the business like people that will start a business, and after year one, basically 4 and 5, after year 4 and 5, they sell it and they move on and start over and do it again, and just do those businesses, keep going until year 4 and 5, and then sell it and then do it again. And that's kind of what it is, because after a while, people get tired of you. People get bored. People want something new, right? Everybody wants the newest, or go to the newest restaurant, go to the newest bar, go to the newest this, that. People, you need to reinvent yourself to make people want to come back again and again. Because if not, people aren't going to come back again and again.
What about places like Shake Shack and like Hop Dotty? They don't really reinvent themselves. They kind of just stay consistent.
They do stay consistent, and I would say, like, in those, they have a little, like Hop Dotty. I mean, they did the velvet rope kind of a deal of kind
Mhm.
of, like kind of making not many people, are trying to creating a line basically.
Yeah.
And when you create a line, you create a buzz, right?
Uh-huh.
And you people want to go, but Hop Dotty or Shake Shack, those, I, the burger places, I think
Mhm.
they're a niche in itself, and I
Yeah.
think those are not gonna go, or not gonna go out of like trend as much. But like
Mhm.
there are some that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, how about y'all's business? I mean, has it, or the business when y'all were at your old place that you worked
Moonshine?
at? Yeah, I mean, the business was really good, and then it went down, right? And then kind of went up and down for a while.
Well, it actually
Or
it went up the whole 10 years that I worked there. We went up
is
$1
that right?
million every year.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Now have y'all or did they reinvent themselves?
Yeah.
After, I
And it
mean,
was it was about the 5-year mark is whenever we like switched the menu, and
yeah,
then about the 4 years after that is whenever we kind of changed decor, and Chuck is constantly reinventing.
yeah. Yeah, and it's just to make people want to come back, because people don't want to see the same decor over and over again, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
The same menu. It's just boring. It gets boring to me. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a restaurant called Satellite. I think Satellite
Satellite Cafe.
Cafe. I
Yeah.
mean, it's right beside my house, or right down, right down the road, and I'm tired of it. I mean, they haven't changed anything. I don't know, and
Yeah.
and it's one of those things where uh, you have to reinvent yourself, because if not, people are going to get tired of you in your last year's place or whatever else. So
Yeah, excuse me.
bless you. But I think everybody has to, the restaurants have a cycle, and I think trying to, or at least understanding that cycle, and
Yeah.
understanding that. But I mean, again, burger places, I mean, it's kind of a weird deal. You have, I mean, how many burger places are there? You have P. Terry's, you have Hop
Uh-huh.
Dotties, you have Little Dotties, right? There
Little
are
Dottie, yeah.
little Hop Dotties. So, and then you have Five Guys,
Sandy's,
Sandy's, so
Whataburger.
yeah, so you have a lot of burger places, but I I I think the burger kind of phenomenon, is kind of, I mean, it was a big thing for a while, and now it's kind
Mhm.
of slowing down a little bit, and I think there's going to be phases, but I think it's not going to be as big.
Yeah.
Uh, but again, I still think they every restaurant needs to at least reinvent themselves, or reinvent something, or get a new item on the menu
Yeah.
to bring people in,
Okay.
and that's the biggest deal.
So is
Do
that
what,
what
Heidi?
reinventing is, that you're making new menu items? I currently work at like a casual restaurant because I work at
Yes.
Wild Wings, and we come up with new menu items like probably every 6
Yeah.
to 10 months. So is that what you mean by reinventing new menu
Yes.
items, new items? That's what reinventing is?
Yeah, yeah, reinventing anything, doing something to be able to bring new people in, and to excite people into, to make people want to come into your restaurant, right? I mean, I live by, like Maudie's Cafe, Maudie's restaurant, a Mexican food place. I go in there just because it's convenient, but there has nothing been new on the menu, and I've lived in this house for about 12 years now, and there hasn't been anything new on that Maudie's menu, in that long amount of time, or whatever else, and it just kind of one of those things where it gets boring. it gets boring, and you need something that will bring people in. I mean, just think about McDonald's and or Burger King or any of those. They'll not reinvent, but they will add new items like I don't know, like the McRib or whatever else. They'll bring that back to create a buzz, to create some sort of excitement so people can come in. Does that kind of make sense? So reinvent yourself. You don't have to spend millions of dollars to reinvent yourself, but reinvent, just create buzz or something new, because people like shiny objects. They like shiny new things. They like to be able to, say they tried the very first thing or whatever else, or create a buzz. I mean, oh my God, the whole what was that chicken thing? Popeyes, that Popeyes sandwich. I mean, holy cow, how amazing was that? I mean, Popeyes and who was it? Chick-fil-A? They got so much free publicity. So much free publicity. So many people were, videoing them eating these sandwiches, all of that, and it was Popeyes, their new sandwich, and just what an amazing thing, in all that free publicity, all of that, they reinvented themselves by just being the new chicken sandwich place or whatever else. So just creating a buzz, getting someone to want to come to your place. And if you have people wanting, breaking down your door to come to your place, I mean, how amazing is that? I mean, that is something that you want all the time. So hold on a second. So any questions about that, about being effective, just reinventing yourself, or there's a cycle? And it's just kind of an interesting fact. Hiring professional people, very important too. Having professional, well, first of all, you very rarely see professional waiters and waitresses much anymore. Like what I would consider professional. Like this is their profession, no matter what, this is what they do. Now, it seems nowadays it's more of a stepping stone or a kind of a process of, usually people are waiting tables and doing another job. It's a second job or whatever else. But but if you've ever been around a professional waiter or waitress, they are the most amazing individuals. I mean, just because if you've ever been to a restaurant and had that service, that quality service, and they're anticipating every need that you have. They're watching, making sure water glasses never empty, all of that sort of stuff. There are professional waiters and waitresses out there. Most of them are like in New York City, the bigger cities, but a lot of old, like nicer restaurants, they will have typically some lifers. What I would call lifers are people that are professional waiters or waitresses. And if you've ever, when you have a professional waiter or waitress, they make your experience very seamless. And in even when you have a professional floor manager, someone that understands the flow and this is their forte, it's like a seamless dance. It's amazing. It's very nice. But just hiring professional people is very important. It's critical because, again, those people interact with your customers. If you do not have professional people working for you, and people that understand that, you know, that those customers are your livelihood. That's it. If you don't have customers, if you don't have asses in the chair in the dining room, no one's getting paid. Electric's not getting paid. Gas is not getting paid. Employees aren't getting paid. You know, food's not getting bought. All of that sort of stuff. So you need that that professional people on the floor in your staff. That really helps out when it comes to your business, making your business successful. Because anybody that, you know, that really, professional people will always do a good job. So developing a menu. So you have hiring people, and then hiring professional people, and then a well-developed menu is very important to be successful. And guys, I'll give you a break in about 10 minutes, right around 7 o'clock. Okay, so just kind of bear with me for a few more minutes. A well-developed menu is very important. Anybody seen a bad menu before? Gone, you know, I mean, I know my wife. I'm dyslexic. I can't spell very good or whatever else. But my wife is the biggest. You know, she loves to try to find punctuation problems or like misspell, or she can see misspells from a mile away. And every time we go to a restaurant, she'll see something misspelled or punctuation done wrong. And she's like, oh my God, this is, I mean, and I think about, I mean, with me not being able to spell very well, I always get my stuff proofread by like multiple people. So like you know, I'm thinking, these people, you know, at a restaurant, a nice restaurant, you know, they can't spell it right on the menu, and everybody, all the customers see it. That just makes you look not professional, your restaurant not professional. So making sure that, excuse me, making sure that it is, you know, your menu is developed properly, it looks right, the prices look good. I mean, who's ever seen a menu that has like a black line across the price, and then they wrote another price, or they had the white out and they white it out, or put a sticker over the price and then put another price. I mean, that looks janky, right? That looks janky. It looks ugly. It looks, you know, and you need to make sure it looks good. A nice clean one. It doesn't look busy. It doesn't look you know, easy to read. Guys, I'm in my late 40s, and man, I have a hard time sometimes reading some menus if with real tiny words or tiny lettering, or if it's in a different script, making sure that it's looks, you know, or the type is correct, so where we can see it really good. So just making sure you engineer your menu so where it looks appropriate, and it maximizes the sales as well, because we want to maximize all our sales and to try to sell especially certain items, because there are certain items on the menu that I make more money at, or more money on, or whatever else. And I want to spotlight certain things. And if you've ever seen on a menu like a box around something, or one of the things highlighted or underlined or in bold, or a star by it, or if someone says the new item, whatever else, something to excite people, so to get people to see. So just trying to develop a good menu, and that's what we're going to be making, is we're going to be creating a menu, and trying to so we're going to be creating a menu in our project. Excuse me. Actually, let's take a 10-minute break. Y'all good with 10 minutes? Y'all good with that?
Yes,
All
sir.
Yes, chef.
Come back in 10 minutes. Thank you. All right, we'll get started. Okay, so so we talked about developing a menu or and a well-developed menu. That there are key areas of popular items, some similar items, some pricing, making sure the pricing looks good, um, all of that, and we're going to be going over what makes a menu, you know, a well-developed menu through this whole course. So anyway, so that we kind of touched upon a menu. Now let's see, considering success. Okay, so okay, good food is what people want, right? People want good food. They want it to taste good. They want the food to come on time, to their table, all of that sort of stuff. So they want um, to be successful. You need to have lots of things, right? You need to have good food, good service, good tasting, good, it needs to taste good. It needs to come out on time, right? It needs to do all those things. Let's see. Also, people, are looking at your restaurant and visiting it. Looking at the decor, looking at the music, the ambiance, the lighting, all of those things the customers are looking for. I mean, uh, you know, the decor or the ambiance. I mean, there's places that are really good ambiance and really bad ambiance. So considering looking at all of those things, do you want music? Do you not want music? What do you want at your restaurant? What kind of decor? Um, you know, you know, you name it. It really kind of depends on what you're trying to go for, but just making sure that you have all of these things that you need to think about and you need to look at, because if you don't think about the lighting, lighting is very important. It really is. If you don't have enough lighting in by the dining room area, it could totally mess it all up. If there's too much lighting, it's too bright. So you really need to find that happy medium and what is successful for you. In all of that is practice in doing it over and over again and trying to find the right kind of the right little mix that your customers really do like. But and I'm going to kind of, I guess, jump a little bit ahead, but basically you need to find who your clientele is, right? Because if you can always, I can build a restaurant. I can come up with something that I think is successful, what Cliff Dickerson thinks is successful, but no one cares what Cliff Dickerson thinks. It's what the customers want, right? So to build a restaurant, to make it successful, who do I need to figure out? My customer. I need to figure out who my customer is going to be to determine how to make my restaurant successful. Does that make sense? Because if I don't know who my customer is, then I'm advertising to whoever. I'm you know I need a target market. I need someone that I am targeting, right? and whoever that target market is the people I'm looking for. And it really kind of depends on what area you are, what part of town, what town are you in, what city, what all of that, right? And I know some of y'all don't live here in Austin, but if I wanted to open up a family style restaurant, like a kids eat free, more of a younger kid kind of family restaurant, I would be a fool to put it downtown Austin, because there's really not many young, what I would consider young, there are young, people out there, but there are not people with kids as much downtown Austin, all of that. So I, if I would be stupid to try to build a family style restaurant or a kid style restaurant in downtown Austin, because my target market, those aren't the people I'm trying to target down. I need to go to the suburbs, like down southwest Austin or north Austin or wherever else where you have a little bit more of the younger, like the more young families with younger kids and all of that sort of stuff. So to make it successful truly, I need to figure out who my target market is and what they like. What does my target market like? Do they like hip hop music? Do they want or do they want kind of music, that kind of an elevator music? What is it? And then I determine that. Once I figure out who my target market is, then I determine what kind of music I want, what kind of decor I want, what kind of menu design I want, all of that. All of those things happen after I decide who I want to come in my restaurant. Does everybody understand that? Because I honestly I can't really advertise to, I don't want to advertise to everybody. I want to advertise to certain groups of people, certain groups who I think is going to come to my restaurant, right? So you want to maximize your advertisement and try to maximize it to the people that you really want to come in. And if I get other people to come in that I'm not, not that normally wouldn't come in, that's great. That's an extra for me, right? That's extra money. But again, always advertising or trying to target whoever your market is, and that is whoever your clientele you want it to be, right? That's the deal. I mean, even a restaurant, if I wanted to I live in South Austin, so if I wanted to build, let's say I wanted to build, I don't know, some weird restaurant, I don't know, some random ass restaurant here in South Austin, but then I, this weird restaurant, no one wants it. So my target market doesn't want it. So it would be stupid for me to make it. So you really need to research who your target market is, and we're going to talk about that later on. Let's see, accounting. Making sure that you, it's all about the Benjamins, right? It's all about the money. I mean, 100%. We build a restaurant, we make a restaurant, we come up with a bar, we come up with the concepts, we come up with all these things. Why do we come up with it? Because we want to make money, plain and simple, right? We want to make money. We want to, and that's it. So how to make the money, how to do all of that, we're going to be talking about, and we're going to be talking about how to use a POS system. In a POS system is called a point of sales system. And that is what this little device right here is on the right-hand side. It can, this device, and we use it a lot of times. Waiters or waitresses use these items to put in orders, right? But they also do so much more. The POS systems do so much more. They can set par levels. And does anybody know what a par level is?
Yeah.
A par level is, let's say I only have 5 steaks for the evening. I only have 5 steaks in the restaurant. Well, my par level is, I've got a set of 5 steaks. So every time a waitress or waiter orders a steak, it takes it out of my inventory. So once someone will order a steak, it'll then, let's say where, it'll say like 4 steaks left or whatever else, it'll kind of do an inventory of how many items there are. Because has anybody ever been to a restaurant and you ordered something and they said, and then they come back a few minutes later and they say, oh, I'm sorry, we're out of this. We don't have this anymore. Well, if a lot of times they will have, if they have a POS system or an inventory system hooked up to it, where it will kind of count down how many steaks or how many specials, how many, if you have 5 more specials, then it'll say 5 left and it'll take it down. This machine also helps with that. It also helps with forecasting sales and setting goals, like forecasting sales, because it's a computer, right? This connects to a computer or a server, so where it will then, average up all the sales, average up what items sold, how many Dr. Peppers, how many Cokes, how many Sprites, or whatever else. It will split it up so where you can have a good idea of what you're selling and how you're selling it. And then so next year on this day, you can look up what your sales were last year on this day, so you can forecast what your sales are going to be for that same day a year from now or whatever else. So it helps you forecast and helps you decide how much food to make. Because honestly, other than reservations, you got walk-ins, right? You don't know how many people. You've got to estimate how many people you think you're going to serve, right? And that also determines your staffing. If you have a lot of people, if you're going to be serving a lot of people, right, you might need to staff up. So if I'm not serving a lot of people, and I might have to cut people and send people home. So there's all this helps you do your job. This is also, a lot of times people clock in and clock out. If you've ever seen it like McDonald's or most fast food places, they make their employees clock in and clock out on the POS system, the system right here. And the POS system is called point of sales system. And it does a lot of things, and we're going to be talking about all the things it does throughout this block. But that helps you with your accounting now, or with your accounting of your money and forecasting and sales. I would say I think this is a good tool for forecasting, for setting pars, for setting looking at your sales, because you can see all the sales, what your sales mix is, and if how much bar service you have, how much split it up into every section. So it makes your life so much easier. Any questions on that? All right. Labor balance to demand. Okay, so we need to deal with our labor, because to be successful, right, we need not too much labor, because if we have too much labor and not enough sales, we're too heavy. We don't have enough money to pay our employees, right? You know, because we've got to keep that happy balance, because the sales drive everything. Our sales drive everything. I mean, from how many employees we have to the food to you name it. So if, let's say, you know, if let's say it's raining today, and I have a huge restaurant a restaurant that has a huge back area, kind of patio, where it's usually full all the time for happy hour. Well, it's raining. Well, I know that I'm probably not going to be very busy because it's raining. So I might have to cut some people or send people home, right? Has anybody ever had to be sent home because of it was so slow that night, or you know, it was raining or whatever else? Yeah, I mean, that happens. Why? Because if I have more labor, if my labor is more than my sales, then I'm I'm off balance, right? So I don't have enough sales to pay for my labor. So I've got to keep it balanced. So making sure that I have a balanced labor, and when it comes to making sure that I have enough people to do the jobs, right? You know, I don't want to shortchange myself. I don't want to short myself into being very, very short on employees, and then everybody's uh, you know, stretched to the max, and we're not, and everybody's not doing the right thing or whatever else. So just making sure we have the right amount of labor, um, and to open the doors, you require a basic labor, and that labor is called a fixed labor cost. So whatever you need to, like, bare bones, whatever it is that you need to run your restaurant, that is your fixed labor, and that's your labor, and that's always going to be the case. And you know, I've been around a lot of restaurants where, you know, or been at a few restaurants where, you know, checks bounce, or they'll say, hey, can we pay you in cash this month, or hey, can we pay you later on, because of they're not they can't pay their labor because their sales are not strong enough to pay everything. So you know, making sure that you can pay your employees, know you know how many hours, you know, they need, requirements, scheduling, all of that, making sure you schedule the right people. And we're going to be scheduling people, or we're going to talk about scheduling, I think, in a week or so, but making sure the right amount of people are working the correct amount of time. Who's been at a job, you know, and you were overstaffed? You had too many people. I've been there too. And you're just, you know, falling over people, or there are so many people that half of them aren't doing what they need to do, or whatever else. So, you know, I'm not getting my money's worth, right? You trade time for money, right? When you get hired, you decide on the amount of a whatever amount, right? You know, it's $10, $15, whatever amount of money you're going to be getting, and it's one of those things where I'm giving you money for your time. If I'm hiring you, I'm giving you money for your personal time. So I want to maximize all your time. I want to make sure I get my money's worth, right? So I want to make sure that I get all the work that I need out of you when it comes to it, and making sure that, you know, my labor is proper. You know, I mean, I don't want to have too many people. I don't want to have not enough people, because when it's too much, it's chaotic, and when it's not enough people, it's chaotic. But when you have that happy medium, it's smooth like butter. Okay, so you always want to make sure it's smooth like butter. Okay, customer satisfaction. You want to make sure, and you want to make sure people are satisfied. You want a seamless dinner. You want a seamless lunch. You want a seamless service. You want something that's just smooth. It's easy. And how do you do that? High quality service, you know, high quality people, high quality, you name it. You know, you want that satisfaction, and that is making sure everybody's satisfied from the minute they get there to the minute they leave. You know, from the parking lot. Who's been to a restaurant, or to, I mean, hell, think of Walmart, or think of whatever else. When you drive into a Walmart parking lot, or you drive into a parking lot and you see dirty diaper, or someone dumped out their ashtray, or they have beer bottles out wherever, or, you know, you have trash everywhere. You know, it starts from the minute you get to, and sometimes even before they get to the restaurant. But, you know, the parking lot, making sure that it's easily accessible, the parking lot, or making sure that you have a parking lot, or if you don't have a parking lot, you need a valet, something to where it's easy for people to come. If it's hard for me to come to your restaurant, plain and simple, I'm not going. I'm not going to go if it's difficult. Just like anybody, you know, no one wants to have to make it difficult to get to, or if you have, like, you know, like going downtown, you know, you would be a fool if you were a restaurant downtown Austin without valet parking. Without valet parking. Why? Because there's not much parking around there, or just downtown in general of any big city. But, you know, you rarely have parking, and people don't want to have to, you know, circle around trying to find parking, because it frustrates them. So that already puts a bad taste in their mouth, right? That gets them in a bad mood already. So then once they get into the restaurant, I've got to do 20 times more, or, you know, 10 times more to satisfy them even more, because they're already frustrated, right? They're already irritated. So making sure that they're not, you know, the satisfaction is there. The seating, you know, if I made a reservation and then they were like, well, you know, we gave away your table, whatever else, you know, making sure there's enough seating, there's enough maybe waiting area, there's enough, especially nowadays when with COVID, making sure that there's spacing for people. Because, you know, I mean, guys, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I was diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia. And for me, I'm in that high population group where I could get, you know, I could get sick, and you know, I don't care, you know, what I like to, I kind of want to have a little bit of, you know, gap between people. So making sure you have enough area for people to kind of have that comfort zone of not having someone like assholes to elbows right beside each other, or whatever else, like I've seen at restaurants, you know, before. So making sure that you have enough seating, enough spacing, especially now, enough service, making sure that you're, when I see tables with dirty plates sitting there for longer than 5 minutes at a restaurant, man, come on, that turns me off, and that tells me that their system is not running properly, and maybe they might need more people to more staffing, whatever else, and that is a customer satisfaction. That's something that I don't like to see. I don't like to see a bunch of dirty dishes. I don't like to see all of that. So making sure that you satisfy your customers, and make sure that your staffing knows that the customers pay your salary. They pay your salary. If you don't have customers, you don't have a job. You don't have a paycheck. That's the biggest deal. And a lot of times people forget that. People forget that, that's the case. So, making sure you're, training your employees to, have their, have that respect, and in that trying to give that satisfaction and give that 100% at all times. Customer service beats out. Even if it was a okay food, it was all right food. It wasn't the best food, but if I had great service, I would probably go back to that restaurant because I like good service. And if you've ever been to a restaurant and you've had bad service, you understand what bad service really does, and how it is, and all of that. So just making sure you empower your staff to do whatever it takes to make the customers satisfied and happy, and high quality service. Not always. You're never going to make them always happy, right? You can't make can't force someone to be happy, but you can give them as high quality service as possible, right? And that's all I expect, is making sure that we give the service that I or the restaurant, that's what their mission statement is, or that's their mission, is to give high quality service. You need a strong position in the market. You need to hit the right target, our marketing target. And well, first of all, how do you know who to market to? Well, you need to know who your clientele is, right? Who's your client? Who's your target market? So, and what age range is that target market? Are they baby boomers? Are they Generation X, Generation Z, millennials? What are they? And every generation has their own kind of way of getting their material. I have no cable. I have zero cable. I don't have cable anymore. Like, I don't have I only do streaming videos, or streaming at my house. Like, I have a Fire Stick, right? So I don't watch regular, what I call quote unquote regular TV anymore, right? So I don't watch the commercials. I don't see other than Hulu commercials or whatever else, right? I don't see many commercials. So if you're trying to advertise to me, commercials are not the way to go, because I don't watch regular TV, so I don't, commercials aren't the way to go. Maybe social media, maybe Facebook, maybe Twitter, maybe all other ways of marketing to get to your clientele, but trying to figure out who your clientele is and how you want to market to them? Is it social media? What kind of social media platform are you going to use? You know, and you know, I mean, you have a lot of people that are anti-Facebook now. You have a lot of Instagram people. So you have all these people. Well, how can I market to them that if I can't, what other ways am I going to do? Billboards? Am I going to do radio ads? I mean, who listens? I mean, honestly, I don't listen to the radio anymore. I don't listen to like local radio. I listen to podcasts. I listen to, you know, I stream stuff from my phone, right? So I don't listen to regular radio anymore. So, you know, radio ads, commercials, that doesn't do anything for me, right? So, you know, figure out ways to, what are some ways that you could market? What are some marketing ways other than, you know, what are some things that you could do? Anybody? What are some things that you can market people? You know, I mean, if it was you, if I'm trying to market to you, how would I advertise myself?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, okay. LinkedIn is a good one. That's
Instagram.
a professional. Instagram, yeah. I mean, Instagram is like the food porn place, right?
Yeah,
there.
and like food bloggers.
If you want, yeah. I mean, Instagram's a big food porn place for sure. What else? What other things that I could advertise? Yeah.
Email marketing, like SEO, especially if you don't want to do the more commercial routes of marketing, then you have to get in through the back door in front to get into your audience.
Yes, for sure. I mean, and again, that's exactly right. Just and again, what I'm trying to make a point of is you've got to find who your market is. Who are you wanting to come to your restaurant, right? And that's the way you do it. To figure out who you want, you got to market to them, right? And that's who it is. You know, if you're wanting, you know, I mean, my father, I mean, he still gets the newspaper. My dad, I mean, newspaper? Who gets the newspaper? You know, I mean, I look at the news on, you know, I look at Austin American Statement, or I look at a newspaper online. I don't get an actual newspaper, right? Or magazines. I don't buy magazines anymore. I have this app called Texture on my phone, and it's got thousands of magazines, right? So I don't buy. So it's just trying to figure out who your market is anymore. So and trying to figure that out, and that's sometimes difficult. The food, make sure it's quality, top notch. People aren't going to want to come to, you know, I mean, you get what you pay for, right? You know, and again, there are restaurants that, you know, sometimes, you know, there are some restaurants that are kind of poor quality food, but I know that going in, right? You know that going in. But if you're gonna, you want high quality food. You want something that people want. You don't want crappy food. You don't want, you know, food that no one wants. So just making sure that, you know, it's got good flavors, it's creative, it's something that people are going to come back for and want over and over again. And make sure that it's kind of consistent. Consistency is important as well. Being consistent when it comes to the recipes. You know, have you ever been to a restaurant where you've ordered one, I don't know, let's say chicken a la king or whatever else, you ordered that, and then 2 weeks later you ordered the same thing, and then it tastes totally different. It's totally different and you don't like it. Well, that's, the consistency is not there, right? And that's important as well, because people like that consistency. People like for it to taste the same or whatever else. So just make sure it's high quality, it's consistent. You know, in those are the things that people will come back over and over again. And be creative. Be creative. People don't like, people are bored. I mean, I know so, you know, with COVID, you know, we've been staying at home a lot. You know, we've been, you know, stuck around the house. We've been doing the same old, same old. Everybody's in the same grind. Everybody's kind of all, you know, and having some creativity and trying to excite people. That's the something people are wanting now, especially right now, because people are tired and drained because of just the stress of living right now, right? Everybody's stressed out. Everybody's got a lot of baggage right now just because of COVID, and things, being creative and exciting people, that's what brings people to your doors. That's what makes people want to come out and go to your restaurant, right? Because if not, they can cook it at home, right? They can cook it at home. They can eat at home. So becoming a professional chef, know the food from A to Z. No, try it, play with it, do it. You know, do whatever you can. Know the food. You know, be one with the food. Kind of, you know, just do whatever you can to understand what the food is, how to cook it, do all of that. You know, just know the food, master the cooking methods. Okay, how many cooking methods are there? Does anybody know? Well, all right, you got saute is a cooking method, right? You got grill, deep fry, braise, poach, sous vide. I would consider sous vide basically a poaching method, kinda, but it's a controlled poaching method. But yes, sous vide, I would classify that as. But there's really like 5: saute, grill, braise,
Would you consider smoking?
poach. Smoking, you know, I would consider, you could consider that smoking, or a cooking method, but smoking or barbecuing as well. But there's not that many. So understanding the cooking methods, okay? Saute basically means cook in a small amount of fat. Cook in a small amount of fat. So you cook a product in a small amount of fat. So that's it. I mean, but saute, you know, there's different things that you need to know, but other than that, saute is saute is saute. You know, once you hit that method and you understand that, you don't need a recipe any longer. A braise or stewing, you don't need a recipe. Is once you understand the logic of the cooking methods, you don't really need a recipe. You understand that procedure. So for a braise, it's you want, you know, if this is the product that I'm braising, let's just say this, I don't know, it's this big, you know, so braise is halfway, you want liquid halfway up the side of the product. So whatever it is, if this hand is my liquid, and this hand is my product, this is a braise. This is a braise. This right here is a poach. If it covers the item, that's poaching or stewing, but this is braising, okay? So just understanding the cooking methods is very important. The flavors, the aromas, the ingredients, any of that sort of stuff. Uh, you know, a strong business sense, being a team player, being a part of you know, the culture. You need to, let's see, learn to be a leader as well as you know, you need to learn to be a leader for sure. You need to lead because everybody's looking for you, looking at you to lead the kitchen, right? As a boss, as a manager, and that again, that's what I'm asking you to, or what you're going to be is a boss, a manager, a head chef, executive chef, any of that. And to be any of that, you need to be a good leader. You need to be someone that they'll, you know, fight the battle for you. They'll do it for you. So you know, you need to make sure you're you know, you're there and you're working all the time. Let's see, leadership. You need to have the knowledge. You know, don't stop learning. Don't ever stop learning. You know, always keep reading, keep understanding, or keep trying to better yourself. If you are a good communicator, you're probably going to be a good leader because leaders need to be able to communicate, and you've got to communicate properly. So analyzing data, chefs need to analyze data. They need to analyze the check average. You know, and check average is important. Why? Because I need to figure out how much, if one person comes in, how much is their check average for one person, and that tells me how many people I need to come in my door, or how many asses that needs to sit in a chair to make a profit. You know, if it's a $5 check average, a $10 check average, or a $50 check average per person, or whatever else, I need to understand that and figure out how many people I need to come in the door and feed to make a profit. So, you know, making sure that I understand that, making sure that I understand the, you know, the yields. Like, for example, you know, if I get two people to clean a fish or to fabricate a fish, and fabricate a fish means, you know, break it down. But if I have two different people cutting up a salmon, I'm going to have probably two different yields. Someone's going to leave a little more meat on the bones. Maybe someone will leave, you know, maybe someone will, you know, accidentally cut a little piece off, whatever else. But making sure that I understand how much it takes, you know, what is the yield when I trim something, or, you know, a good example, I paid for, you know, like if I have a potato, right? If I have a potato in my hand, and if I peel the peel off the potato, did I pay for that skin? Did I pay for that skin of that potato? I did, didn't I? Because I paid for that potato. So anytime I throw something away in that garbage, I'm losing money. So even those potato skins that I peeled off that potato, that's money. If I throw it in the garbage, that's money I'm losing. So I could either fry it, I could do something, try to utilize it in some way. Hey, I see a lot of yawning. Let's take do you want to take another 10-minute break? We good with that? Y'all good? 10-minute break?
Sounds good.
Y'all, I see a lot of yawning. Why don't y'all get up, move around for a couple minutes, all right?
All right.
Cool. Come back in 10 minutes at right at 8 o'clock.
Hey, Chef, this is Dimitri. I was wondering, I don't know if it's my audio or yours, but I was going in and out on the last part of the lecture. Can you give me a sound check, please?
Yeah, can you hear me? Test, test.
It's a
Test, test,
little,
1, 2.
like when you move certain ways, it go a little higher, a little lower.
Does it? Okay. Let me see about changing my headphone, and let me see if I can do that.
All right, Chef.
Let me try that. All right, let me get a different one.
All right.
Test, test. Can you hear me now?
The other one's better.
The other one is
Yeah.
better? All right. All right, cool.
By the other one, I meant the original. I meant, Chef, I meant the original headsets that you had were better.
How's this? Is this good? Or is the other one better?
I think the other one was better, Chef.
Okay. All right, cool. I'll put the other headphones on.
How's this? Is this better? Yeah, Roy.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right. And I know my daughter is just about to log on to her school, so it might be that it might have been just interference with my daughter's.
Yeah, I think what Dimitri was saying, like, is just certain positions you turn I don't know if it like strains your voice or whatever the case.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, then I'll make sure I
Yeah,
try
my
to.
position looks better now though. So.
Okay, great. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, so someone asked about the class announcement pay portion on the portal. I will work on that. I have not been able to get on the portal and to look at it, but I will try to. I for the class announcements, I just posted the all the PowerPoints. So if you need them, all the PowerPoints, they're on day 2. But until I get the class announcement thing fixed, it's not going to let you access it, but I will try to fix that today. All right, it's 8 o'clock. We'll get back started. All right, let me get back. And guys, please do not ever hesitate to stop me if like you can't hear me or anything like that, or just break in, tell me, and I'll try to fix it. Oh, hey, actually, let me talk to y'all before I forget. All right, so next are on October, let me look on my calendar. October 5th, that is a Monday. Or actually, sorry. Hold on. I think October 7th is, I've got to, and I told y'all I was diagnosed about 3, 4, maybe about 4 years ago with a rare form of leukemia. And so I go to Houston every 3 months to go to MD Anderson to get kind of checked out. And I have a appointment on the 7th. And it shouldn't affect you. I'm going to be in Houston during the 5th through the 7th, just because I've got I need to do some CAT scans and all of that. So I'm going to be doing some testing, but probably on the 7th, I will probably let y'all out pretty early that day, just because I've got to go in. I've got a procedure that needs to be done there, and I've just got to I've got to be there earlier. So we'll probably be on class, and I'll get y'all kind of doing some stuff, and then I'll let y'all then y'all can do it on your own on that day. But just on October 7th, I'll probably let y'all out a little early, or there might be a little kind of some sort of thing. It's just I've got to go to the doctor. So and unfortunately I can't get anybody to cover for me. So so are y'all okay? Well, y'all just get out early that day. So not a big deal. But I never like to lie or hide anything from anybody. So just wanted to let y'all know that. Okay, so on October 7th, give or take, I will let y'all out early, or maybe even depending on the time that I have to be in there, we might just do it just y'all work on your own that day. But we'll kind of play it by ear. But just wanted to touch base with y'all on that before I forget. I meant to tell y'all yesterday. So, let's see. All right, so let me get. All right, being a forward thinker. As a chef, you need to be able to kind of think ahead, anticipate people, what people want, what people need, you know, and that's also in the front of the house as well, anticipating people's needs and wants when it comes to the food service industry. You know, so you're just trying to be a forward thinker, understand what's going on in the restaurant and what people want, and taking physical clues. Like if someone, in the front of the house, if someone's looking around like this, well, that tells me that, that customer needs help, right? So, taking physical clues and just being a forward thinker and looking and being, that also will help you, help your restaurant be successful. Just because of you're looking into the future, you're trying to you're looking in the future, trying to figure out what's the next new thing, right? What is the next thing that people are going to want? What is, what is the new food going to be? So just making sure you, also communicate with your customers as well. You need to go out and talk to those customers and figure out what they want. Let's see. Chefs need to be a master at the cooking and ability to train people. Again, train, and train. I can't stress this enough. You are going to train people no matter what. Even if if you say, hell, I'm never going to manage, I never want to be a manager ever again, you are whatever else, you will always train someone. Why? Because we do in the restaurant industry typically is a job shadowing, where if I'm going to hire you, I'm going to hire you and you're going to train whoever's working that grill. If I hired you for the grill station, you're going to get hired, you're going to get trained by the person that is working the grill station right now. That's a job, basically you're going to learn on the job, but that person is going to train you. So even if you're not the executive chef, you're still going to be training people. You're going to still be teaching people. So making sure that, the first initial person, if I didn't train that grill person correct, if I didn't train that person on that station correctly, then they're going to train that next employee incorrectly as well, right? So where it's that cycle, right? It's a vicious cycle. So making sure that I train my employees at the very beginning and train them properly and make sure that they understand that it's important to follow these recipes and to follow things. And do you remember when I said consistency, being consistent is important? Same thing here. If somebody puts a wrong ingredient in something, whatever else, into a dish, that's gonna make it non-consistent, just like the flavors. So, people are going to want that consistency. They want all of that. So just making sure that you train those employees to be consistent, so they're not just throwing random herbs or random items in a dish, because that's not what they should do. They should follow the recipe and train the staff correctly. Let's see, how to build your brand. You know, you need to, branding is one of those things where you've got to, I mean, McDonald's is a brand, right? I mean, it's a branded item, right? And what do you, when you think of McDonald's and you think of McDonald's brand name, what do you think of? What are the things that you think of, like business wise, when you think of McDonald's? I think, that they make all their money at breakfast, right? They're very fast, they're all of that, but you need to build your brand. You need to build what you want. And that is, first of all, word of mouth is probably the best and the most, optimal thing that, for spreading the word. But how do you get that word of mouth? How do you get those people to come in? How do you get those people to talk good about you and not talk bad about you? And that is, having those procedures, having those standards, having all of those things in place is very important. Let's see. Great listeners. Chefs need to be great listeners. Guys, I can't tell you enough. I am part psychologist, part mom, part dad, part sister, part brother, part, uncle, part everything. When you're in, that's not even being a chef. That's part of being a manager. Being a manager, you've got to be all of those things. People come in with problems. People come in with things, and you've got to listen to them. Guys, you can't fix their problems. 99% of the time, I can't fix their problem. I cannot fix their problem. But if I listen to them, and that kind of all helps with their problems, right? Listening to them when it comes to like their personal problems, and this is their personal problems. Now, I can fix their work problems, I can, do other stuff, but listening to them and understand that they, they're your employees and they're the one that's fighting the battle for you. If you're the manager, you're up there, you're doing other things, but you've got all these people below you working for you, and the only way that they're working for you because of money, but maybe also because they want to work for you because they respect you. If they respect you, that's a lot. And listening is very important, because if you don't listen to your employees, you're going to fail. Guys, how many times, who works, let's see, Heidi, do you work somewhere right now?
Yes, I do. I work at Buffalo Wild Wings as a line cook.
Okay, so let's say you need you need more fryers, right? You need more fryers, or the fryer's broken, or whatever else. And if I don't listen to you, then it's going to hurt my sales, right? Because we're going to be down a fryer. And if I don't listen to them, or if I don't listen to you because you work, what station do you work? Do you work fry station?
I'm generally a grill cook or a garde main.
Garde manger. Okay, yeah. All right, so grill. Let's say you told me you have a different way of doing things, and if I didn't listen to you, maybe because you are working that station, you have worked in that station always. That's your job. I don't do that station every day, so that station better than me as a manager. So if I don't listen to you, and I am doing a disservice. So just always listen to your employees. Maybe you don't have to act on it all the time, but listen to them and understand where they're coming from, and that also is to be a successful restaurant, you have to have good employees that trust you, employees that will go the mile for you, because, we've all worked with people. We've all worked with people that are that don't give a shit, right? That just want to clock in and clock out, right? They don't care. They're just looking they just need a paycheck. They could care less. And those are the people that I don't want in my business. I don't want around, because, they're not going to want to listen to customers. They're not going to want to listen to me. They're not going to want to listen to anything. So just be aware, be able, speak up, talk to your bosses, and when you are the boss, listen to your employees. And, if you don't listen to them, that means you don't trust them. And if you don't trust them, why do you have them on your staff? Plain and simple. Okay. So if you don't trust them, get rid of them. If you're not going to listen, if they're not listening to you, if you don't want to listen to them, then maybe it might be a opportunity to move on. Okay. Now, our namesake, the school's namesake, Augustus Scoffier, was the first person to basically come up with this kind of hierarchy, if you will, he called it the brigade system. And he got this from the military, because brigade, a fighting brigade, but the brigade system is a hierarchy. And the way he kind of, if you've ever seen chef's hats, they're real, a lot of the chef's hats are pretty tall. And the brigade system was kind of set up so where the executive chef would have the tallest hat. The sous chef, that's the person right underneath the executive chef, they would have just a little smaller hat. And then you had chef de cuisine, pastry chef, gourmet, you got buffet chef, sous chef, all sorts of different people underneath. Then the hats would go smaller and smaller and smaller. And then you've got just the kind of the line cooks, and the line cooks would have what you call a skull cap, or just basically something that would just go kind of like a little beanie kind of a hat. And I think y'all have skull caps as well. But that's kind of what Escoffier created. So, this is kind of the hierarchy. So the sous chef, or the executive chef, is kind of the main person, the person that's in charge of everything, except unless that's in the back of the house. That's only in the back of the house. This is as the back of the house right here, only back, but they're in charge in the back of the house, and it goes then the sous chef right underneath that, and they take all the orders from the executive chef, and then from the sous chef then you've got the line cooks and all of that, and then you've got the prep cooks underneath them. Okay, so that's kind of the hierarchy. Now, we're gonna watch this little video with Chris Duffy. And if you've never seen, if you don't know Chris Duffy, he had a restaurant in Chicago called Grace. It is now closed down, but on Netflix, he has, and I don't know if it's still there, but I think it should, but it's called, the documentary is called What About Grace? And it's a really good documentary, but he has some good words. So I'm going to show this video real quick. And I'm going to just, Now, please let me know if you can hear this whenever I get it started. Can y'all hear it? Okay.
Excellence, humility, ambition. These are words that align with Auguste Escoffier, the revolutionary French chef who modernized and simplified cuisine. And of the many chefs across the world who exhibit our namesake's finest qualities, Curtis Duffy stands out. As an Escoffier Schools partner, 3 Michelin star restaurant chef and owner, James Beard Award winner and philanthropist, Curtis Duffy embodies the spirit of Escoffier and demonstrates the places determination can take you. From home economics class to the job of his dreams, Duffy walks through his 25-year career path to the top and his advice for aspiring young professionals embarking on theirs.
I'm Curtis Duffy, chef owner of Grace Restaurant in Chicago. Thank you for having me in your classroom today. My passion for culinary arts began when I was probably 14, when I stepped into home ec class, probably 6th or 7th grade. Home ec's really shaped the foundation for me. It kind of built a great platform for me to really want to and understand what I was getting myself into. And you know, it just gave me a foundation of like, what is cooking going to look like on a very elementary level that I knew I could eventually build upon that. When you step into culinary school, a lot of the times it's focused 100% on food and cooking. And when you spend time in the kitchen, eventually you're going to be a great chef. But it's knowing the backside of what we do, which is the business side, the finances, understanding that in great detail as well. With anything in life, whether it's food, photography, motocross, whatever it might be, it's coming from within. It's following your passion from within inside. Not stepping into the field of food and wine with the idea that I'm doing this because I see somebody on TV doing it and they must live a great life. You know, it all comes from within. You have to be driven from within, otherwise you're not going to be happy. I think I've been fortunate enough to have a handful of mentors in my career, and even though I've only been with them for a short period of time, you know, sometimes it's only 2 years, sometimes it's 4. Sometimes it's been since 6th grade, which was my home ec teacher. She still is a mentor to me as well. There's a gentleman named John Souza who I spent 6 years with at a private golf club in Columbus, and he really allowed me to build my fundamentals, and he showed me the fundamental of cooking techniques and service and things like that. So there's a lot of times throughout my day where I'm cutting a piece of fish or butchering meat where I can remember that moment in the kitchen where he first showed me how to do that. And it can be very powerful. You don't really understand how much you've learned until you move on to the next job or the next chef that you start working for. I think being successful in any industry, really, I think it's hard work, it's dedication, it's being passionate about what you do. It's about having an inner drive, that inner fire that fuels you every single day when you wake up to hit it running, you know, and just being humble, you know, overall. We've always built the restaurant on 4 pillars, the 4 foundation, which is service, food, ambiance, and the wine world. Obviously, you have to start with a great product. You know, a great product comes from years and years of relationships with farmers, foragers, fishmongers, and developing those great relationships gives you the better edge to getting those great products from your farmers. Then it starts with great service, and how do we give the best service possible, and then how do we refine it every single day. And it's the same with the cooking techniques of the food. How do we constantly refine what we're doing every single day and get better every single day without being complacent and feeling that mundane place that you could easily fall into. Farm to table practices and sustainability are very important in the food wine world. You know, it's about allowing the chef to get the best product within hours out of the ground, which is important, but also help connect yourself with the chef in the land and understand where it's coming from, and only taking what you need as a chef. It's about being able to have those products available in the future. Well, I think culinary school can help your advancement through the industry through the connection of the relationship between the chef and the restaurant, building a foundation, and building also the fundamentals of cooking. Two things that the Escoffier schools provide that stand out to me are the farm-to-table experience. One being that the student can go to the farm for a few weeks and really experience and get their hands on, get their hands in the dirt, pulling vegetables out of the ground, or if it's in a livestock, they're able to work with the animals. I think it's very important because it makes a connection to that chef. It makes a connection to where your food comes from. Very, very important as a chef. Also, I think, the industry externship, gaining experience in the industry, going out and working in a restaurant to really understand what you're getting yourself into. It's so many times that people think it's so glamorous to be in the kitchen and working, but they don't understand that the amount of hours that it takes to get one dish to the table or to make a restaurant successful, it takes many, many hours behind the scenes. Thank you for having me in your classroom today. I wish you the best of luck in any career that you choose.
How inspiring is that? Very inspiring. He's an amazing chef. So be humble, for sure. Hold on a second. Did it stream pretty seamlessly, or was it pretty choppy?
It's lagged a little bit, but not that bad.
Oh.
The video itself lagged, but the audio was pretty consistent.
Inconsistent? Or
The video was inconsistent, but the volume and what he was saying was
okay.
Pretty
All right, good. That's all I really care about is what he was saying. All right, so let's see. Here is the Grace restaurant, or when it was open. It did close down, but I know he is in the process of doing other stuff or getting another restaurant. But what I want you to look at is kind of the ambiance, the cleanliness, look at the team, look how the kitchen is. It's clean, it's organized. They have, it was an amazing kitchen. I mean, look at the food that is produced out of there. It's an amazing place, and he is, and I know that he's going to be coming to Austin, once COVID is over and once we get kind of moving back into school, he is going to be coming in and doing demos as well. But I mean, look at the clean plating. Look at the stuff. It's very eye-catching. It catches your eye. It's food porn, right? It's things that turn you on, that excite you, right? Those are the things you want. You want to excite people with your food. You want to turn people on with your food, right? You want people to be wanting to go, oh, I want to take a picture of this. Ooh, I want to do this. I want to eat this. I want to do that. I want to go there. Why? Because of just such a sexy looking plate presentations. That stuff, look at that. That's gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, we're gonna watch another little video. I have to stop it and start it.
I'm going to show you how anyone can quickly and easily create doodle videos.
Y'all can hear it?
Restaurants are amazing. They're really amazing places. I mean, I know I'm biased, but occasionally, though, we make mistakes. I'm sure something that's probably occurred to a lot of people in this room is that one time or another you've been dining at a restaurant, and when the waiter or the food runner comes to deliver your entrees, they run away and you don't have silverware to eat your food. It sucks. It's frustrating, right? You're sitting there, you're looking at this beautiful, hot food, and you start looking to try to flag somebody down because all you want is silverware so you can start eating. And off in the corner, what do you see? You see your waiter. And what is your waiter doing? They're giggling and chatting and laughing with their colleagues, and you're just trying to get attention. And they're seemingly completely unaware that you need silverware. Off in the other corner, what do you see? You see the bartender texting on his message. This sucks. It's really frustrating, isn't it? I'm telling this story to illustrate a problem that exists in our country. And the problem that I'm talking about is employee engagement. What's great is that restaurants offer the opportunity to provide a great case study on employee engagement because we literally have to be engaged as restaurant staffs in order to succeed. But before we get into all of the elements of what makes restaurants great case studies for employee engagement, it's really important that we all understand a couple of factors about restaurants. First, if you're trying to get rich, please find another profession. All right? Restaurants on general generate about a 6% profit margin. That means I fight tooth and nail for 6 cents on the dollar. The second thing that we all need to know about restaurants is it's really hard work. And I mean, anybody you talk to who says to you that they work in restaurants, most people's first reaction, ooh, long hours. Yeah, it is long hours, all on our feet, often in hot environments. You know what else it is? It's really high pressure. And I'm not talking that Gordon Ramsay shouting and screaming and throwing pans pressure. I mean, literally, you could have Mother Teresa or Gandhi in the kitchen, and it's still high pressure. And you know why it's high pressure? It really trickles down to about 3 things that make restaurants really high pressure environments. The first one is that we're dealing with a perishable product, our raw food. The second thing is the life cycle of that product generally occurs all in one day. And what I mean is, in the morning we receive our food, then we spend all day prepping and working on it, and then at night we serve it. And that leads to the third thing that makes restaurants really high pressure. Most of you are all trying to dine at exactly the same hour every single night. So, what do small profit margins and high pressure have to do with employee engagement? Everything. They have everything to do with employee engagement. You see, because restaurants have such slim profit margins, to offer high salaries and a lot of the other traditional extrinsic motivators that a lot of other industries are able to offer. So instead, what we need to do is we need to find alternative ways to add value to this high-pressure workplace. So if we don't find ways to do that, what happens in restaurants is we fail, right? Take, for example, a cook who's not engaged. What happens? They might overcook or burn the food, making it not tasty, or worse yet, inedible. What happens when a waiter's not engaged in their job? You get bad service, making you not want to return to the restaurant, or worse yet, give an unfavorable review. Now, with so many restaurants that are doing it exactly right, and are giving great food, and they're giving great service, the places that don't fail, and they fail quickly, there's a reason the statistic exists and is true that 9 out of 10 restaurants fail in the first year, right? Now, all of this is true beyond just restaurants. Employee engagement is a problem that exists beyond restaurants. Both Gallup and McKinsey have been conducting surveys on employee engagement since 2000. The results of their studies are mind-blowing. Sadly, only 3 out of 10 people working in this country are actively engaged in their jobs. 5 out of 10 are disengaged at work, and the last 2 are defined as actively disengaged at work.
Wow.
This is crazy. I mean, here you need to know more about this. They surveyed over 25 million people in nearly 200 countries in almost 70 languages. This is not like just some theory that somebody on the internet came up. This is hard statistics. This is a fact. We have a problem with employee engagement, right? So at our restaurants, we do a lot of things to really foster and try to enrich and enliven an environment of employee engagement. And I believe that a lot of the practices that we do can be applied across other industries. The first place we need to start as companies is with celebrating the individual. Teray is a gentleman who's a server at one of our restaurants. Teray used to come to work every day, and he always had his camera, and I'd see him, and he'd be snapping pictures of this and that and the other. So one day, since I saw him always carrying his camera, I sat and I had coffee with Teray, and I wanted to chat with him a little bit. Hey, Teray, I noticed you always have your camera with you. Are you a professional photographer on the side? Something common, a lot of servers and bartenders have another job on the side. To which Teray explained to me, no, I'm not a professional photographer on the side. I'm just really passionate about photography. Okay, that was great. You know, we talked about it a little bit more. Fast forward about 6 months later, we were opening another restaurant, and we were developing the website for that other restaurant. We hired 2 other professional photographers to take all the pictures of the food in the room for the website. And then I remembered, wait a second, Teray's really passionate about photography. This would be a great opportunity to get Teray involved. So I went to Teray and I talked to him and I offered him a price that I would pay him to take some pictures. He was fired up. He was like, what, I'm literally, you're gonna pay me to take pictures? Yes, right? So Teray got so fired up and he grabbed his camera and he went and he started taking pictures of all the restaurants and everything. And in the end, he delivered me almost twice as many pictures as either of the other photographers. What do? We put some of his pictures up on the website. He was so proud, he was so happy. You know, actually, Teray wrote me a card afterwards. I brought it because I wanna share one of the things that Teray wrote in his card to me. He said, Gabriel, thank you for giving me the opportunity to photograph the restaurants and allow me to manifest one of my dreams. Words can't describe your belief in me from day one to be an asset to the family, and it's been a beautiful thing to watch us grow. I love that I come in every day and it never feels like work. It never feels like work. That's amazing. That's what I want everyone to feel like, is that it never feels like work. And what did it take? It just took me taking an interest. And you know what is the best thing that came out of this? It wasn't even the pictures. The best thing that came as the end result of involving Teray and taking pictures was the passion and the excitement and the energy that he took back to the restaurant that he's a waiter at. And he put all that passion and that pride into all of the guests that he served and into his colleagues. And they benefited from his enthusiasm far more than we benefited from some pictures. And all I had to do was take an interest in him as a person. You see, all too often, as companies do, they ask their individuals and they ask their colleagues and their employees to check their passions, to check their dreams, and to check their ambitions at the door, and instead trade those in for the passions, dreams, and ambitions of the company. That's backwards, my friends. It is absolutely backwards. What we need to be doing is the exact opposite. You need to be talking to your colleagues and your employees and asking them, what are your passions? What are your dreams? What are your ambitions? Let's find those out. Let's uncover those realities. And then let's work together. I'll tell you what the ambitions of the company are. And will you help me achieve the company's ambitions? You tell me what yours are, and let me try to help you achieve yours. Right? Celebrate the individual. Now, this is an example of how it works on a one-on-one situation. But a lot of the time we work in teams. We work in teams in restaurants, and there's a lot of companies that work in teams. What we do at our company to try to promote teamwork is collaboration. Now, we have a director of bar operations, a brilliant individual, fully capable of writing all of the cocktail lists for all of the restaurants all by himself without any help. And I tell you what, if we let him do it that way, I guarantee it would be way more efficient than the system we use. But instead, we choose to use a system that takes 3 times as long and takes way much more effort to manage. Why? Why would we adopt a system that takes more time and more effort when we have something more efficient? Because it encourages employee engagement. The system that I'm talking about is around the cocktail list changes. What we do is we create 3 voluntary meetings with all of the bartenders of every restaurant every time we want to change the cocktail list. Those meetings are centered around, the first one is idea creation, the second one is editing, and the third one is implementation. And for the weeks leading up to the cocktail change and for the weeks after the cocktail change, the entire bar staffs of the whole company are fully engaged in the process. And when somebody's cocktail makes the final list, they're proud and they're excited that their cocktail made the final list. And every time a guest orders a cocktail from them, that passion and that engagement is refueled and reignited. You know what's even better? We got another bonus that we weren't even looking for by creating collaboration. Consistency. Who knew? Every bartender's so proud of their cocktails. What do? They make sure that every other bartender makes their drink exactly the same way they would. It's brilliant, right? Now, sometimes these cocktails or dishes that come out of team collaboration get recognized and picked up by a magazine like Bon Appetit or Food and Wine or the New York Times. And when that happens, we have this wonderful opportunity to share our stage and shine the light and recognize our colleagues for their efforts. See, all too often teams work together and then the team leader or the director takes all the credit. That's crap. Don't be that guy. Don't be the guy who steals all the credit. Be the other guy. Be the other guy who, when you get recognized for doing something awesome, you sit there and say, you know what, I wasn't just me. I had Jill with me. I had Steve with me. Actually, that drink is his. And so we do that anytime our dishes or our cocktails are recognized. We share the spotlight, and we allow the people that we're working with to be recognized for their efforts. There's other ways to share the spotlight, though. And that's internal promotion. You see, a lot of companies talk about career development and clear paths for growth. But all too often, I think those are hollow words where people say that that's what they care about, but their actions don't always follow that. That's not good enough anymore. We need to do better. We need to make sure that we are promoting from within, and we need to also amplify the stories of that promotion. A few weeks ago, the general manager of one of our restaurants put in notice because she's moving out of New York, sadly, to move to Austin, Texas. This left us with a hole at the top level service management position at one of our restaurants. The person that was directly under her, ready to take the position, or was not ready to take the position just yet. They were doing a great job, but they weren't ready to be the general manager just yet. So we were faced with a dilemma. What do? Do we look for somebody that's very qualified externally, or do we find a more creative internal solution to this problem? In our company, we constantly promote and we constantly talk about this idea of internal promotion. So it's important that if we're going to always talk about it, we got to put our actions where those words are. So what we've chosen to do is actually find a creative solution. Instead, what we're going to do is we are promoting the general manager of the other restaurant across the street, a guy who's been in his position for 3 years, crushing it every day. He's been doing such a good job at one restaurant, we're going to give him the opportunity to try to do it at 2 restaurants. Then what we're going to do after that is we're going to take the 2 service managers at each of these restaurants, and we're going to promote each of them to be the assistant general manager. Then what we're going to do is we're going to identify a waiter or a bartender or a maitre d' who has leadership potential, and we are going to offer them their first management position, and they will become the new service manager. And then what we will do is hire a new waiter or bartender from the outside. You see, when we promote from within, what we have the ability to do is improve our retention. We have the ability to promote and enrich our culture, and we have the ability to do better training. Because in our case, everybody who's moving into a new position is being trained by the person who last held it. And that person's sticking around as a source of information constantly and continuously. What this means is that sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, I think it's important that as companies, we make the decision to promote a less qualified internal candidate over a more qualified external candidate. Because when we do that, we have the ability to make ourselves a more attractive employer internally and externally, in addition to improving retention, improving culture, and improving training. Because what's going to happen when that new waiter or bartender comes into our company is they're going to be surrounded by every layer of management above them was once a waiter or bartender, and they see in their faces an amplified story of, if I work here, I have the opportunity to grow too. Externally, it brings more talent to us. It's brilliant. People that are coming into our restaurants, that work at other restaurants, see the general manager today and they know, I used to come to this restaurant 3 years ago. You used to make my cocktails. Today you're the general manager. I want to work in this company. I want to be a part of this. There's opportunities for growth. And the more we do this, over time, we begin to surround ourselves with an entire team that represents our investment in them. Currently, the unemployment rate in this country is 6%. A lot of people are up in arms about that. Doesn't bother me as much as a different statistic. What bothers me is that 7 out of 10 people that have jobs in this country are disengaged. That they're simply going to work and they're clocking in and they're clocking out. Or worse yet, some of them are actively undermining the ambitions of the people who do care in that company. That's the real problem in my mind. Lack of engagement is a real issue, and it's something that we really need to work on. And it's got to start with CEOs, founders, leaders, and managers. And those same Gallup and McKinsey reports about employee engagement suggest that many people are trying. But you know what else it suggests? More people are not trying. And of the few managers and CEOs that are trying, they're only finding success a third of the time. That's inadequate. We need to make change. And the ways that I found to make change, and the ways that I encourage you to make change, are to celebrate individuality. Help the people that you work with live their values and their passions and dreams through the company, inside their work life and outside. Second, create collaboration. Be intentional about it, even if it's not the most efficient way, and even if it means creating more work and more time. Create collaboration and share in the recognition when you do. And lastly, and most importantly, we must make, as a default way of thinking, internal promotion. It's got to be that way. It's how we're going to build better cultures and better teams. Because if we don't do these things, we're going to continue to tread water, and we're going to continue to stifle production, innovation, and job creation. So think about all that we have been able to achieve as a country with only 3 out of 10 people engaged at work. Imagine what we could create if 5 out of 10 people were engaged at work. Let's start making a dent in employee engagement. Thank you.
All right. So that right there, I mean, I do like TED Talks, and that right there is one that I feel like, can y'all hear me? Okay. I feel like that one speaks volumes when it comes to how to make a restaurant work properly. I mean, statistics, 3 out of 10 people at your job are disengaged. You know, or 3 out of 10 people are the only ones that are, those 3 people are the only ones that are engaged at work, right? 7 out of 10 people are disengaged, and some of them are trying to totally undermine you and try to break it all down. So it's those things, it's your employees that could make your restaurant make it or break it. You know, you need that culture of getting people to what I call buy into your facility, buy-in. I need buy-in, and I need people to want to be there, that care, that love, that support, in that collaboration. Here, we would have specials. Like if you wanted, to get your name on a menu, I would, do a special, like he was talking about, the drinks, putting someone's drink on the menu. All of that spotlights your employees. Guys, you as a manager should never get any glory. Your glory, your everything, your fame, all of that is no more. As a manager, as a boss, who cares? No one cares about your glory, any of that sort of stuff. Everybody cares about, you need to care about your employees. Make sure you boost your employees up. Make sure your employees feel valued, feel like you care about them, and truly care about them by showing them that, you value them in certain ways, by listening to them, by collaborating, by allowing people to have whatever their passion is, like that for photography, bringing that photography into your job and bringing that passion in there. So realistically, we're trying to make people happy at work and try to get people to do their job. And it's not, people aren't doing their job. Look, statistics, only 3 people out of 10 are doing their job correctly, right? So the rest of them are not, and I'm still paying them money. So I got to figure out what I can do for these slackers, what I can do to motivate them so they can be not actively trying to destroy my business, right? And they're even working and they're actively destroying it. So you need to value, and I feel like a lot of companies, and I think it's coming back around. You meaning me or anybody else, but you used to be a cog. We got to go, just do it, and you just got to keep your mouth shut and just keep doing your job over and over again. Well, that's not how to run a successful restaurant and run a successful business in general. So making sure that you handle and deal with your employees and make sure your employees are actively engaged. Oh my God, like he was talking about, if your grill cook is not actively engaged in its job, and he or she is thinking about, what they're going to do the weekend or what's going on, they could easily burn food, right? Overcook a steak, overcook a chicken, overcook whatever else. And if it gets sent back, the lack of I guess the lack of concern, the lack of not wanting to, the lack of caring is costing me money even more. I got someone that doesn't care about their job and I'm paying them. Plus they're burning stuff because they're not paying attention. They're not actively engaged. So they're making me lose more money. So, those things are very, very important to deal with. And I think, dealing with, making sure your employees are not actively trying to destroy your business. So anyway, but that was a great, I thought that was a good video to add, but and I kind of already talked about Auguste Escoffier and the brigade system, but he was the one that started the brigade system and kind of got it set up, and the hats, the size of the hats were just because of most kitchens were real big, and you could just look up, you could be able to look out in the kitchen and find the tallest hat to figure out who the boss is or whoever it is. So he is the one that was in charge of that. And there's Auguste Escoffier. let's see, the executive chef is responsible for all the kitchen ordering, supplies, development of menu items. He or she is also, known as the chef de cuisine, or executive chef, responsible for ordering, you name it, any of those. But they're responsible, but I've gotten my sous chef to order food or do stuff. And we're going to be talking about delegating, weeks later, in a few weeks, but delegating, that is something that I sometimes do as well. But developing menu items, but you help develop it, but everybody else does too. So collaborate, make sure you collaborate with everybody else. Sous chef is kind of the second in command. They answer to the executive chef. Let's see, they're the ones that are kind of watching everybody kind of on the day-to-day cooking aspect. They're the ones watching the sous chef, or the line cooks, and kind of dealing with the day-to-day stuff. The executive chef usually is doing more of the administrative work. Station chefs are chef de partie, basically a station chef. They're in charge of the head in the pantry station, or just the head line cook or whatever else. But the chef de, basically station chef. And you have kind of a breakdown, and here's kind of the French kind of terminology for, sauté, poissonnier, fish station, roasting station, grill station, all of that. And if you want to know what those are, here is the station. Sauté station, saucier, or sauté, fish station, poissonnier, rotisserie is a roasting chef, a potage chef is the soup chef, all of that. So these are basically a Escoffier brigade system. And he is just the one that kind of created the system, the hierarchy, if you will, when it comes to the kitchen, in the kitchen. And then you also have a dining room hierarchy, like in the dining room, you have a, restaurant manager, you have a head waiter, maitre d', then you have a station head waiter, and kind of going down assistant station, depending on your level of service, depends on, the brigade system and how many people you have. If you have a wine steward, or if you have a sommelier, or what have you. But that is the dining room brigade system. So here we go. This is kind of it. Make sure you do the readings, or get onto the portal and you do these readings on the portal, or those little breakout sections that's on the portal that I asked. And make sure you do your check your knowledges. Okay? We're going to be talking about, in the check your knowledge, I think it's resume and interviewing and hiring and training. But we're going to be talking about, but that's kind of the homework. So just work on the portal. Make sure you have gone on the portal and you've checked all of those. For the first week, you need to go, and I will show you one more time. I'll get on the portal and show you exactly where to go to look at these, this homework, or to do the homework, in just a few minutes right before we get off the class. Summary brigade system, basically it has a dining room you have a brigade system in the dining room, in the living room, dining room and kitchen, you know, and Escoffier created the one for the kitchen, and he was kind of the person that was in charge of creating that. You know, another few takeaways is just and let me stop sharing. A few takeaways is just make sure you treat your staff the way you want to be treated. I understand, you know, things happen, whatever else. You just need to understand your staff is the one that is going to work for you to make this successful. You cannot, you meaning the manager, executive chef, the owner, whoever it is, whoever you are, if you cannot do it on your own, you have to have your staff to do it. And if your staff is not engaged, if your staff doesn't want to be at work, if your staff is bored at work, if your staff hates work, if your staff is feels like they're, you know, they're not listened to, they're not being listened to or any of that, they're not going to do a good job, plain and simple. So the biggest takeaway for you today is make sure you take care of your staff, because your staff is the one that's going to take care of the restaurant and make the money for the restaurant. Because if you don't have the staff there and they're not doing the right thing and engaged, they could be, you know, making me lose money every single minute, every single day, every time they do something, every time they waste food, every time they you know, steal a soda, or every time they cook their own food for themselves instead of eat the family meal or whatever else every time they do something, it affects the bottom line. So always, you know, treat your employees good, but be fair, be honest. And that's what's going to help you be successful. One of hundreds of things, right? Ones of hundreds of things to help you be successful. That is one of them. So today we are done. Are there any questions, problems, concerns, issues, anything anybody want to bring up or ask before we go? No?
No,
All right then. Well, y'all have a great, oh, wait. I do want to show you on the portal, if you have not, because we have some people that weren't here yesterday. So let me share my screen real quick and show. All right, so I'm going to get onto the portal. And when you scroll down, keep scrolling down, and you're going to see these things right here. It's called research materials. You need to click on click on this and go through the modules. And once you go through them all, there should be these checks right here, I think should turn green. Okay. And then the check your knowledges, it is a quiz or a little quiz. I think I have it here. Let me see. I think it should. Okay. So like this one right here. So what is this? Check your knowledge 1. The very first check your knowledge. You've got 21 attempts. So you can do 21 attempts and you get the highest grade. So I'm not trying to fail you. I'm not trying to trick you. I'm not trying to trick you or anything. What I'm trying to do is get you to understand the material and to understand it. And some of this is some of it's math, some of it's just some questions from the material, but you can redo it and redo it until you get the right, right answer or whatever else. But this is what I want you to do. And I also want you to do the, like this for, here you go, like this right here. Here you go. And, this is one breakout. That's it. That's it. You just look at it, done. That's it. And then you move on. Here's a, but you just click on those and you just keep going. And that's how the homework is. All right. Are we good? Everybody copacetic? Everybody happy? Everybody understand? Beautiful. All right. Then I will see y'all tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Well, basically, we're going to start every day at 6:10. I'm going to give you about, from 6 to 6:10 to get in here and to get situated. And then we'll start usually straight up 6:10. All right. Peace. Y'all have a great day.
All right. Have a good day, Chef.
Yeah, you
All right,
good job. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a great day.
Take care.
And I'll be here if anybody has any questions.
Actually, yeah, I do have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Just wondering, yeah, I know we're doing mostly book work for the first 6 weeks, but are there any particular things you think we should be working on at home? I've never worked in a restaurant environment. However, I did used to help my mother out with like the catering that she would do on the side. So I'm not extremely technical, nowhere near professional. So what would you recommend?
You know what? How about I give you a little list of a few things, and I'll kind of give you some material to look at as well.
Okay.
I'll send you. Let me write down your name. Let me just write it down so I can. So this afternoon, sometime this afternoon, I will email you with some material. I can even email you your material for your next class, your cooking class that you're going to be doing, so you can kind of look at it and start kind of getting to know it before you start your class in 6 weeks from now.
Okay, I really appreciate that, Chef.
Yeah,
Did you send
of course,
that as
man.
well, Chef?
Yeah, I can do it to everybody. But let me. Yeah, not a problem. I can do that for y'all. Not a problem. Is there anything else I can kind of help you out? Now, I'll throughout the 6 weeks, I'll kind of if you're asking, probably other people are wanting that as well. So I will kind of spread that out throughout the 6 weeks for everybody. No worries.
All right.
No problem. Thank you. Y'all have a great day. Be safe, guys.
Likewise. Take care.
Bye.
All right.